you said trust your gut. Lying upstairs on the balcony.
She's a liar. Right now, you are a liar, Haley.
Hey, Angela.
No, did I say that, Dee? No, Haley. I never. You for doing that. Good on you, though, Haley. Now you just made me an enemy.
Haley has activated Hurricane Angela, honey, and it was a Category 5 meltdown. Hey guys, welcome to my channel where I'll be recapping this season of Big Brother. That's right, recapping every episode, all season, all summer long. All right, today I'm here to recap Big Brother 28, episode 18. Before I do so, if you happen to like my content, hit the like and subscribe buttons. Join the conversation down in the comments below, and make sure you hit the notification bell so that you get an update each and every time I update and upload a new video. All right, guys, let's get into it. So we start this episode off where we left off at. Lala, the new HOH, Latrice, just put Barrett, Haley, and Chuck on the block. Barrett is like, Barrett feels like Latrice told him that it's time for him to choose a side because he's playing on both sides, but yet he voted the same as her on her last eviction, so make it make sense. Haley, she feel like, oh gosh, she feel like she's been dragged since day one. She's had such a hard time in this house. Mind you, yeah. Chuck says, like, that Lala, he don't understand her motives. It's like she's dazed and confused and don't know what's going on. So yeah, he's over it. So now in the backyard, we see Chuck and Haley, they back there venting in the backyard. Taylor comes out and she lets us know that she had a hand in the nominations or whatever. She didn't, it wasn't her choice, she not at the household, but she definitely had a hand in those nominations. Chuck, he's stuck on the whole fact that Lala referred to him and Haley as a couple. He don't like that. He feel like she's trying to target them. And, you know, Taylor is telling them, like, you know, no, she's telling them that the plan is to backdoor Kamu, which is not the plan. Kamu is down with them. He's the reason why Chuck and Haley are on the block. Taylor in her confessional, she's like, oh, they're humbled. They haven't had to worry this whole season, so she see them now and they're humbled. So now we go to the HOH room. Kamu, he's happy. He's like, yes, he plans on working with Lala. Lala didn't put him on the block, so he feel like he could work with her going forward, and now he trusts her. Back in the back, Melody and Mallory come out in the backyard. They still on their little Adam and Eve punishment, so they stuck at the hip. They come back in the backyard and they're laughing over the fact that Haley is on the block. Haley and Chuck is on the block, pretty much. The icons are also satisfied. They're like, yes, that's, you know, they coming for them, they not coming for us, and it is what it is, and they coming against each other. They don't think we had nothing to do with the vote being flipped. Angela, she feels bad. She's feeling bad. She's sitting there looking like, you know, she's bad. She's ready to crack. Back in the HOH room, Chuck visits Lala, and he's like, what's up? Like, why you put me on the block? He don't understand. So he's sitting there telling her that everyone in the house think that she don't know what she's doing. She don't know how to play the game. And she's telling him, that's my strategy. And he's like, I don't think so. And she's like, whatever. She's laughing at him like, please, Chuck, you don't know what you're doing. And you got the nerve to give me some advice. So she tells him, I had to put you on the block to have you go against Haley. She lets him know she want Haley out, and that pretty much she put him in to compete in the competition to take a chance of Haley not getting the veto. He's like, he still fell away. Haley is his people. He's riding with Haley, okay? Melody and Mallory, we see little clips and fragments of them doing their punishment. You know when someone has a punishment? I'm so sorry. My dogs are playing. I'm dog sitting for my sister, and yeah, they're having a good old time, so please don't mind them. But yeah, so we see like little clips and like a little segment they put together, a package they put together of Melody and Mallory on their punishment or whatever. Like they're stuck at the hip, they gotta do everything together, work out, use the bathroom, sleep, whatever. So now Devins is saying the fact that they're running around with a punishment, he knows Mallory had got chosen for the time capsule, but he know there's still a power out there somebody got last week because nobody had a punishment, and he knows that it's D. So he's asking her, and she finally admits to it. She said she couldn't hold it in. She let him know or whatever, and they're happy about that. outside, Haley, Angela, and Dee are talking up in that little terrace thingy thing they got upstairs. They're talking. And Haley is basically trying to figure out who flipped the vote. She's asking them, like, do you know what's going on? Did one of y'all do something? And Dee is like, no, trying to throw the blame on Yash or whatever. So Dee ends up getting up and leaving. So when she leaves, Haley was like, she acting mad suspicious. Like, she was acting nervous and she just laughed. So she's talking to Angela. Angela is still feeling guilty. And she's asking Angela, do she think Dee did anything? Angela just tell her, listen, trust your gut or whatever. So now Haley decides that she want to keep the red corner together. So she meets with Kamu and she tells him like that the plan is to backdoor him. So he needs to, be in a veto. He hopefully could be in a veto and could save one of them off the block and he'll be safe as well. He's acting like he's still working with them and he's down with the plan, but he's like, little do they know, baby, I'm the reason they on the block. I'm working with Lala and them. So she's contemplating this crazy plan of if her or Chuck win the veto, for them not to use it to show that their loyalty is together and they're not going to take a chance of getting Kamu on the block and keeping him off the block. So they're ready to sacrifice their game for him. Well, she's ready to sacrifice their game for him, not knowing, baby, he already done torched our way to the wolves. He threw y'all to the wolves. So anyway, now we go to the HOH room. Lala and Tella are in there with the 3 icons. Lala is telling Dee, like, that she should tell Kamu about what she did. Because, Dee is telling her Haley is asking around. And Lala is like, you should just tell him. Like, if you tell him, he's gonna respect that or whatever. Angela, she still feels guilty. In the bathroom, she decides the next day, she takes her shower, Haley comes in the room, and she decides to confess to Haley and tell Haley that she's the one. She's like, I'm so sorry, and she's crying, telling Haley, I'm sorry, I voted to evict Lyric. Haley is kind of thrown off, like, wow, really? Yeah, and Angela is just like, boo-hooing and all that. So Haley is thrown off, so she's like, all right, okay, all right. But, afterwards, Haley feels away now, so she meets up with Chuck in a storage room and she tells him, and she feel like, the thing that is driving me crazy is the fact that she shouted my family out. So when Angela did her vote, she shouted out Haley's family, and when they do their vote and they do their shout outs before they leave out the voting out the diary room. So yeah, she felt like, and then you have the nerve to betray me, like, So she felt like, no, I really can't forgive that. So now she says the only people she trusts are Chuck and Kamu. So she still trusts Kamu, all right? So now they meet up in the bathroom, and Angela meets up with Dee in the bathroom, and Angela tells Dee what she did. She tells her that she told, and Dee is like, wow, what's going on? Dee is like, what are you doing, Angela? The plan was for me to tell Kamu, not for you to tell Haley. We got to keep the get going. We got to keep it going. Like, so now she tells Dee leaves out. Haley comes in the bathroom and Dee leaves out, and that's when Haley tells her she feels away. So now Haley tells Angela she still feels away because the fact that Angela shouted her family out, and at the same time she was stabbing her in the back. No, she don't think she could forgive that. Angela's breaking down like, oh my gosh, no. So Angela's like, listen, I know you already told Chuck. She's like, no, I didn't. So Angela's like, all right, I'll tell Chuck. I'll tell the whole house if you want me to. So now Chuck comes into the bathroom and she tells Chuck, and he's like, oh, wow. And she's crying like, oh, I'm so sorry, Chuck, I'm so sorry. So now she's asking him for a hug, and he's like, no, not right now, whatever. So basically, she admitted that she voted for Lyric to be evicted when they was trying to figure out. It was 3 people who switched. Her, and now they're trying to figure out the other 2. So now now we're in a locker room. And she goes to the locker room to tell Kamu, and she tells Kamu that she switched the vote, and she's crying, and Kamu tells her, it's okay, don't worry about it, I respect you for telling me. So now it's time to pick players for the veto challenge. And of course, the head of household picks the chips because there's 3 nominees this season, so it's 4 people already playing. And as we know, only 6 people playing the veto, so she picks 2 chips. 2 tokens out. The first token she picked out is Chuck's token, which means he gets to pick who he wants. He picks Kamu, thinking Kamu's still working with them. Then Lala picks Z token to play. So they played it So now they're getting ready for the veto challenge. D confesses to Kamu. She tells him what happened. She tells him that, she switched the vote up. And he's like, you know what, I respect that or whatever. But she tells him that she's not going to tell Haley. And he's like, hey, whatever. So now she tells him about the power. Like, she tells him she's still going to lie to Haley. But then she decides that, and like, she just had like an epiphany. And in the spur of the moment, she decided to tell him about her power. So he was like, oh, wow. She said she felt like telling him about the power, the benefits of telling him outweighed the consequences of him using it against her. So, and Kamu did say in his confessional that this goes a long way in building trust for him and going forward, he felt like he could work with her. So it worked, okay? Like I said, D's a smart girl, okay? So now the red corner and D meet up. The red corner, the original trio, Haley, Kamu, and Chuck, they meet up with D. And they're talking, and that's when Haley says that Angela told her it was D. So she's now telling D, she's saying to them that Angela, instead of Angela saying it was her, Angela said it was D. And D is like, what? Like, she don't really care if Angela said that. So now Kamu was asking, she's like, what about Yash? Because they're trying to figure out who's the other person. I think it's 2 people that flipped the vote instead of 3. Sorry, it's 2 people that they suspicious of. So now they're trying to figure out who the second person is. So D is like, what about Yash? Kamu was like, no, he's good. I trust him. So D is like, well, if you're saying you trust him, that means you think I'm lying. Because it's only but 2 people. It's only one other person. And he's like, what? So she's like, you want to call Yash in here? He was like, yeah, let's go get Angela too. So they go grab Yash and Angela. They come in the room. And they're talking. And then they're talking pretty much. And D is saying, you know what? But Angela's talking about why she told her. She said she just told her because she couldn't hold it in no more. Haley's her friend, and she didn't want to risk their friendship, so she told her. So now, Chuck asks Angela, like, and what did you tell Haley about D? So Angela's like, huh, what do you mean? So Haley is like, yeah, you told me that D is the one that flipped the vote. And Angela's like, wait, what? And Haley was like, well, yeah, when I said to you, I asked you if D did it, you told me trust your gut. So now Angela is like, wait, what? You is lying. You a fucking liar and this and that, going off like, no, I didn't. Chuck telling her to calm down. You a liar. That's a bitch move for you to do. I did not say that, D. Now you got me as an enemy, Haley. So she's going off. Mind you, the whole time this is going on, Lala is listening to the door the whole time. She heard the whole conversation. So at this point, Lala comes in to grab Angela, and they're telling Angela to go calm down. And Lala telling her, come on. So she leaves out the room. She's leaving out the room, and she's just going off like, I did not do this. You gotta believe me. When I tell you, yes, she had a meltdown. Stage 5.
You guys all know me. I didn't do that. They do not believe that. That's a bitch move, Haley. I didn't do that, Chuck.
Okay.
I didn't do that, come on. I didn't do that, Haley. I didn't do that, Yash. Haley, how could you say something like that's malicious lies? That's I never would do that. I did not.
So now later on in the kitchen, or was it the next day, I'm not sure, but they're in the kitchen and it's Lala, Haley, and a couple of other people. And Lala's asking Haley if she's gonna apologize to Angela. And Haley is like, you wasn't there, you don't know what happened, respectfully. And Lala is like, yeah, I just know that Angela was hurt and it got real nasty with you and Chuck and her. And Haley is just telling her, like, respectfully, I'll talk to her on my time. You wasn't there, you don't got nothing to do with it, pretty much. And Lala is like, what do you mean respectfully? There's no need for it to get disrespectful. So they're going back and forth. Haley is like, you know what, I'm going to just leave out the room. And Lala is like, you do that, go to your room, whatever. She's like, and Haley is like, I want to be respectful and whatever. And Lala was like, the way you wasn't last night. So yeah, Lala is provoking her or whatever, and Haley leaves. So now, it's like they kind of get into it. So now it's time for the veto competition. For the veto competition, they got on August 13, 1977. And it is time for the competition is called the Saturday Night Veto, and it's like at the disco, they all dancing. That part was cute. They was all dancing. So for this, there's some flashing lights on the floor, like the disco lights. So they have to follow the pattern of the lights by taking a step forward. It's either left or right. And it's a specific pattern that lights up green. If you step on it and it lights up green, you go to the next one. If it lights up red, you gotta go back. And you gotta remember the pattern and figure it out by trial and error. So they do it in rounds. The first round, Chuck goes against Kamu. They do it, Chuck wins. The second, Chuck wins? No, Kamu wins, I'm sorry. Kamu wins the first round. The second round, Haley goes against Lala, and Haley wins. For the third round, Haley went against Barrett, and Barrett wins. And for the fourth and final round, it was Barrett versus Kamu, and Kamu ends up winning the power of veto. So now he wins it. Chuck and Haley are both hopeful that he's going to use it on one of them. They still think the red corner is in full effect. In the HOH room, Lala tells Kamu to keep the noms the same, and he's like, all right, he's going to respect it, but he's trying to figure out a way for it to, sound believable. So he wants Lala to act like she gonna put up Devins and threaten to put Devins up if they take one of them off, which I don't think they would have cared about that, okay? But I guess, yeah, he think that they still working with the two shad, playing along with it. So now in the backyard, Mallory and Melody's punishment is finally over, and Drew is not happy about it. He's like, he wish he could have made it more than 48 hours because he was enjoying the view. So outside in the backyard, we see Mallory, Melody, Drew, and Barrett talking. They're chatting, and they decide to form an alliance called the American People. Okay, the American People. So they saying they going to start a revolution against the house or whatever. So they're praying that Kamu they do some type of prayer, praying that Kamu doesn't use the veto, so none of them go up. So now when I have not room, the red corner meets up, the three members of the red corner. And that's when they're asking him what he going to do, and that's when he let them know he not going to use it. He don't want to, Lala, he's using an excuse of Lala threatening to put up Devins, and he don't want to cause no rift and go against the house and become a target next week. So they're not happy about that. Haley is very disappointed. Chuck is upset. He felt like, now, baby, I see you as an enemy as far as I'm concerned. So they are over it, okay? Chuck is like, how you going to not use the veto on a person who chose you to play the veto with them? Like he's over it. So now it's time for the veto meeting. And Kamu already told him he wasn't going to use it, and he didn't use it. So Chuck is done. He's over it. He's ready to go to war with Kamu and everybody. Barrett, he feels safe. He feel like his chances are good up against Chuck and Haley. And Haley, she feel like she's Lala's target, but she actually said Cruella. I feel like she said she knows she's Cruella's target. And Taylor is happy because she's playing Puppet Master and her plan is working according to plan, all right? That was episode 18, guys. Stay tuned because episode 19 is right after this.
Yo, 2 archives gotta go before jury. You have a personal preference? Devins?
I think he's scarier. He's the scariest of the three.
He's the scariest one. Oh, yeah, 100%.
So that's the thing.
Thank you.
I feel like that's a well-known fact.
Thank you. It would be easier at this point to get rid of the 2 other archives.
Ooh, la, 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 la. Okay, that wine got you running your lips, baby, in front of the wrong people. Girl, Lala, what you done did? So episode 19 is the live eviction episode. We start off right where we left off. The veto meeting just ended. We see Chuck and Haley react. We see Barrett react. Outside, Taylor, Melody, and Barrett are talking about it like, yes, they're like, it is, they're happy. They like, it's not us, it's them, good. We wanted them out anyway. They feel like the house is changing. The dynamics are changing. Good, that's what they wanted. Over in the locker room where that round bed is at, Devins is in there talking with Yash, and he's talking about pretty much how Haley staying is not bad for him. Lala may want her out, but he don't necessarily want her out. Like, he feel like, he could work with Haley. Yash feel the same. He feel like he could work with Haley too. He don't really trust Chuck, so he's down. In the backyard, Mallory and Barrett are talking, and she's telling him how she preferred Chuck to go because she feel like Haley has more enemies, and Mallory feels like she wouldn't necessarily be Haley's target. So Haley got more people she's looking at targeting, so she prefer Haley. She doesn't trust Chuck. She feel like Chuck would put her up. Barrett is like, whatever, he's down for whatever. So in the bathroom, Taylor is trying to tell Chuck, like, it's campaign season. You got to start campaigning to stay. And, if you and Haley on the block, you're going to have to campaign against her, or if it's Barrett. So she's asking him, like, if it's you and Barrett on the block, how are you going to campaign? What would you say? She's trying to explain to him, and he don't know what's going on. He's lost. So she's like, what can you offer people that would make you come up, your stock come up? Like, what would make them want to keep you over Barrett? What can you offer them? So he's confused, he's dazed and confused, like he's accusing Lala of being.
It's like, with Melody.
That's not good enough. You gotta offer something bigger than that. Maybe his brain is so squeezed by that hat, it doesn't even go in one ear and out the other. It doesn't go in at all.
Like, she's asking him, and he's like, oh, Barrett, he's like I forgot. He was talking about Barrett, and she's like, no, what can you offer? And he was like, I could be like a shield for people. And she's like, that's not good enough. So basically, yeah, his mind is thinking about other things right now, okay? So over in the bunk bedroom, Devins is scheming with Barrett and Drew on, keeping Haley. He like, let's keep Haley because, she ain't really, she got a lot of enemies, so she could be like a shield for them. In the kitchen, we see Angela and Lala, they're cooking something. Angela's playing around with the knives, like doing that thing like hibachi. Then she tries to throw them up and catch them, and one flies over there, so they're laughing. So now we go to the HOH room, and we see Lala in there with Barrett, Drew, Melody, and Mallory. Now Yash comes in, and when Yash comes in, she's like, Yash, close the door. So she was like, yo, we got to get one of the icons next week. We got to get rid of one of them. They here, but, we could get rid of Chuck this week. So she's like, Drew gonna say, oh, Devins is the most dangerous out of all three. She's like, thank you. They're like, yeah, definitely. So she feels like Devins is here to have fun. She feels like Angela is here for redemption. And D already won over $500 million. So they're like, it's $1 million. So she ain't know for Survivor, it's $1 million. So she's like, she won $1 million? They're like, yeah. She's like, oh, wow, okay. So she's scheming. So Barrett is sitting there looking like, I don't know about this. So he feel like, what if somebody from the tool shed find out about this? Or from the crossovers find out about this, and they're gonna be like, Barrett, why didn't you tell me this? So, and he don't want them to think of that. He don't want that to happen, especially while he's on the block this week. So he's gonna go tell them. So he ends up going to tell them. In the bunk bedroom, he tells D what happened. So D is like, for real? So Devins comes in and they fill him in on what's happening about how they say he was the most dangerous one here. And then Devins is like, what is it? Am I here to have fun or I'm dangerous? Which one? I'm confused. So later on, Barrett is in the bunk bedroom with Drew, and he tells Drew that he told D, and as he's telling Drew, Angela comes in, and they telling her what happened, and they're filling her in on how the icons gotta go, and she's here for redemption and all that, and they're all just like, yeah. So D is like, wow, we're gonna have to flip this shit on her now. Now they definitely want to keep Haley and let Chuck go, since all I want to get rid of Haley. So as they're talking, Angela falls out her chair, child. I'm just like, you know what, Angela, I'm done with you, girl. I'm done. So now it's time for the BB Blockbuster. The BB Blockbuster is called Newton's Apples. It's Barrett, Haley, and Chuck playing in it. They have to shoot 5 apples, which are round balls. They have to roll them onto like this mat area, a specific area And they have to get 5 apples on the mat. And then once they get all 5 apples on the mat, they have to use the black balls to knock all 5 off. So the first one to do that and then hit their bell wins. So they do the challenge and Haley ends up winning. Haley wins. She comes off the block. It's between Barrett and Chuck. It's time for the live eviction. And the live eviction, Chuck is evicted in a vote of 9-1. He left the house still dazed and confused, not understanding what just happened. Okay? Yes, guys, so that was episode 19. Episodes 18 and 19 of Big Brother. Episode 20 comes on this Sunday, so you will see my recap that Monday, all right? In the meantime, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe buttons. Join the conversation down in the comments below. If you're into Housewives, I'll also recap Real Housewives. I'm doing Atlanta right now, the reunion. I'm doing Real Housewives of Orange County and Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. So if you into that, hit the notification bell so you can get notified when I drop my recaps for that and also when I drop my recaps for Big Brother. Anyway, guys, in the meantime, today is Saturday, August 15th, and I hope you guys all enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye now.
No!